And welcome back, guys, to another test review. Today we are on, this is very special for me, a CVO Ultra, and this is model 117 of 1200. Take. So we are looking at the granddaddy of the touring range for Harley Davidson. I mean, this thing is pure luxury. It's got more optional extras than Batman's utility belt. The first thing that really stands out is that 117 CI engine that Harley Davidson loves so much, the Milwaukee 8. Fantastic engine, much better in terms of its cooling capability, and it's got a lot more power, which you need on something like this, which weighs approximately 451 kilo. I mean, when you think about detail on the bike, this thing has got it all. If you just look at the seats alone with the blue stitch piping and the Harley Davidson badge, it is just completely beautiful. Coupled with, then you've got that anniversary colour, which is almost like a metallic blue stroke flake, which really pops out in the sunlight. And for you chromosexuals, then you've got that beautiful engine that really pops out in the sunlight. But what I don't want to do is ramble on too much. So what we'll do now is kick it into the B-roll, and what I'll do is list out the USBs with the cinematic footage that I've taken. Let's kick it.
The one my heart has gone to me, now gone to wait. Tico, 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 tap. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tap. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tap. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, tico, tap. This tico, tico, he's a cuckoo in my car.
So getting on this bike, what does it feel like? Well, visually, it's an absolute beast if I can get my leg over. Oh my god. I think I just pulled something. So now I've got on the bike, what does it feel like? The first thing that really stands out for me, guys, is this back support. I can just tell already, leaning back, once you're cruising along, is going to feel so good on that lower lumbar. In terms of the riding position then, the angle of my legs at 45 degrees, and just looking down as well, I just love the fact that you've got all these optional extras in terms of, you know, you can have real forward controls, as you can see here, just to adjust the way you're supported on this bike when you're doing touring. I mean, it's such a beautiful machine. So in terms of the Harley Davidson controls, what I do like is everything's really simplistic. In front of me, this is the first thing that will stand out to you, and that is the boom system. What I love about it is that it's touchscreen, easy to manage. If you click home, then you can see all the different options that you've got: media, tuner, comm, traffic, and sat nav. Obviously you can click on all the different options, and again, if I just go to sat nav, for example, there are different things that you can go to. Point of interest, map. Obviously there's always the Harley dealership, so they want to keep on spending some money, so I try and keep away from there. But if I click on map, it'll show you exactly where you are, and then if I click back, then I can click where to, and then it's got the addresses, your saved items, your home. And with the addresses, again, really simple. Click the city, and then straight away it pops up. So it's just a really easy system to manage. With the hand controls in conjunction with the boom system, what you've then got is that on the bottom hand side of your hand controls, then you've got all the different options how you can navigate through the system. It's really easy to use, guys. I honestly think this would take you about 10 minutes to get used to. And then the other options you've got is engine stop, start, your hazards, obviously engine start here. Then you've got your indicator self-cancelling for the right, and then you've got your information button, which then displays air temperature and oil pressure, etc. Coming over to the left hand side, then you've got your self-cancelling indicator, your horn. That's pretty loud. Then you've got your headlights, obviously they're all LED, and then you've got your communication button here on the right hand side. Then on the left hand side, top of the handlebars, then you've got your cycle button, which cycles through your trip A, trip B, reserve, how many miles you've got left. You've got all the necessary controls here in front of you, guys, and I just want to reiterate, this is really easy to operate, even for someone who's brand new to this. Now the last thing we need to do is a sound test. Now I just need to make you guys aware this is a stock CVO, so just bear that in mind. For today's test review, guys, we're going to go down to Beachy Head. That's the new Motonewbrider test track. So what I'll do is, we'll start with a roundabout manoeuvre test. Okay, so I've just been on the road for approximately a couple of minutes. And the first thing I'm noticing is just the enormity of this bike. Obviously the week before I went on the trike and that was a big monster, but this to me does feel huge. I think it's just a case of getting used to that weight. It's when you're doing things like a short turn-in circle and you're not twisting the bars too much. You've just got to make adjustments for that. But in terms of the level of comfort, I mean, this backrest is gold dust. If you're doing a lot of miles, it kind of makes sense just to get one, even if your Harley doesn't come with it. In terms of the ergonomics, foot positioning is always a big one for me. I do love forward controls. Just takes the pressure off your legs. For me on this bike, obviously you adjust further than 45 degrees. And then with the CVO, then you've got the optional extra. Let's try and do it. Oof. Of really extending those legs out, so I'm 5'9" and I can just about touch those extended foot pedals, but I can imagine for someone taller than me that's going to feel super nice. Just coming up to the first part of the test, which is the manoeuvrability test. So let's see how this thing handles round the roundabout. So we're going to do a complete U-turn this time, guys. So indicator on, going into second gear, and when you're actually moving on this thing, it just feels so light. It's nice and comfortable in the turn. Doesn't feel heavy at the front either. I don't know if you remember, but I did a Road King review, and at the front it just felt like the front end when you go in round the roundabout just kind of dips in more. But with this, it's much more balanced, which is good. Being honest with you guys, the one thing that I forgot to ask about is where are the heated grips on and off switch? Because I think they're currently on and it's absolutely boiling. So guys, I had to pull over because my hands were on fire. So just spoke to Craig, so I had it on full blast. No wonder my hands were on fire. So let's turn that down to nothing. So now we're on the cruising part of the section for my test track. What I want to understand is how this CVO performs at 60 miles an hour. So what I'm looking for is comfort levels, wind buffering, buffeting, I said buffeting, and also as well how the ergonomics make my journey more comfortable. So what can I tell you? Well, at 60 it feels really nice. I genuinely feel like I'm sitting on a cloud, and with that back support as well, it's just really comfortable. That's all I can say. In terms of the ergonomics and the foot positioning, well, you're a bit spoilt for choice. You can either extend the legs or bring them back in. That's a really nice touch from Harley, I must admit. And then the other side then, as I'll demonstrate here, is the handlebars. They are super comfortable, and I think they're just about right for touring. Let's open it up a bit. What I love as well is just the manoeuvrability from switching lanes. You kind of forget that this thing's over 460 kilo. When you're standing still and you're moving it around, it does feel heavy. But maybe I'm just weak, because I'm not a real biker. What I am digging is the braking system on this bike. Dual linkage, much appreciated, especially with a bike this heavy. And I guess most of you will be aware of dual linkage, but all it essentially means is that when you pull the front brake, it'll automatically work with the back brake as well. Go on this left bend. Oh, it's just so easy to maneuver. and then it's got that 117, so it's got that power to really give it some. And if you think about it, you need that power. If you think about all the luggage that you can put on this bike, plus then you may have a pillion, you know, that's a lot of weight. Okay, so open road in front. Let's see what this bike feels like. Coming into a nice right long bend, plenty of traction. It just feels so positive in terms of the handling. Then coming into a right, it's a bit sharper than I thought. Just had to adjust myself. And then coming into a long left, just easing up. And then open it up. Coming into the next manoeuvre. Oh, from memory, what is it? I think it's a left and right. Drop down from 6th into 5th. Now into 4th. Little bit of brake again. Ah, caught me off. So left, then right. Oh, this thing twitched then. Oh, nice. Dropping it down again. Oh, it's not as nimble as I thought. Okay, could be, well, it could be the rider. So what are my overall thoughts on the CVO Ultra Anniversary model? Well, I think for a tourer, for me, it ticks all the right boxes. Comfort, manoeuvrability, back support, adequate luggage, good braking, a decent engine. You know, these are all the things that are really going to matter when you're doing those long distance rides. And I just want to say as well, with the 117 CI, the Milwaukee 8, now I know the engine is cooler, and it is compared to twin cam, but it still kicks out a little bit of heat, and I can feel that. Now today I think it's around 27 degrees in the UK. Now for you overseas people, I know the first thing you'll say is, well, you should be wearing a coat, that's freezing. But for us UK people, that's warm. Other things that I really like, the suspension's great. Obviously I haven't been able to show you that properly because usually I go over those railway lines, but I haven't today. But I know from experience with the other tourers, this new emulsion preload suspension is really, really good. So for me personally, and I mean personally, what are the things that I'm not too sure on? The big one for me is just the management of the weight when I'm doing tight maneuvers. I've had to be really careful with this. Usually with any other type of bike that I've been on with Harley Davidson, it's been quite manageable for me to do tight maneuvers, move the bike around, etc. But I think this has really challenged me today. And from a personal perspective, you know, that's the only other thing I can be critical on this bike. As I mentioned, this is the creme de la creme Harley Davidson touring bike, and they've been doing this for absolute donkey's years. What I'm really excited about with Harley is that as we move along, we've seen all the new models that are coming out. And personally, I'm excited about it, and I just think with the tourers as well, these bikes are going to get better and better. So guys, that is my first ride review on the CVO Ultra Anniversary model. If you like the vlog, give it a thumbs up, and as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, appreciate the support on the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next vlog. All the best, Motonewbrider.